continue. Okay. All right. So this is the meeting called to order. This is the CRC Group 2, Thursday, 8:30 meeting on February 12th. I will take a roll call. Bill Parrott,
Present
present.
by Zoom, present by Zoom.
Kathleen Corbett,
Here.
Jennifer Hom, here. Russ Kimes will be absent this morning because of a test. Okay. So, quickly, just to recap, let's talk about what we have for today. We will have at 1 o'clock, we'll have some interviews later in the afternoon. Ann Kelly Lenz is coming in from 1, and we left it open till 2. To your point, Bill, she might go a little longer. Then at 2 p.m., we have Tucker Murphy. And then at 2:30, we have Alex Snyder from Zoning Board of Appeals. Okay. And then Bill, Kathleen and I are out on the 19th, out of pocket. So we would like to, if it's all right with you, cancel that morning and afternoon session and move it. And just to give you an update on where we are on people who are left, Cheryl Jones has just emailed me. She's happy to change to the following Thursday, which we will then have Tiger Man and Cheryl Jones of HR.
So that's on the 26th.
That'll be on the 26th. And then Kathleen has just informed me too that we're going to have the treasurer, Andrew Brooks, come in on March 3rd for the entire CRC team.
Okay.
All right.
And
Right.
could we, Jennifer, is it possible to, and if not, that's no problem. I have a meeting at 3 p.m. on the 26th. Can we do Cheryl and possibly Tiger in the morning at our 8?
So I was just about to go there. Tiger is at 9 a.m.
Yeah, good.
I was going to put Cheryl at 10 a.m.
Perfect. Well,
That's
thank
good.
you. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
And if we want, we can flip then, gives us a little more flexibility if we have any working articles to
Yeah.
have a separate meeting after that. Okay?
Yeah, on the 26th, I have a real hard stop at 10:45.
Okay.
So it shouldn't be a problem, but it's a real hard stop.
So maybe, if it's all right with you, Kathleen, we can have Cheryl come in at 8:30.
That's fine. That's our normal start time anyway, right?
Right, but I don't know if it's Cheryl's. So I will go
Oh,
and,
yeah, she's in by 8, so
okay, make that inquiry. No
yeah.
problem. Is that good?
Yeah,
So
Now,
just to be clear, the 19th we canceled, which is
correct.
19th is canceled for everything.
perfect.
Okay.
And we haven't even, you didn't notice that, so there's nothing to cancel. It's just
I'm,
on our own calendars.
yeah, you know what? These things seem to move around quite a bit. So I will notice a little sooner, but I'm always going to be the week of because I've got people who come in, they want to cancel this, they want to do that. So
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
no worries. And I haven't had I have had a confirmation from Ann and Tucker for 1 and 2. I do not have a confirmation back. So just so everyone knows, prior to the meeting, I'll always go out and confirm with people that they're coming. I haven't had a confirmation from Alex yet at 2:30. So we may end today at 2:30.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just as an edification, we had a list. Um, so is there anyone we need to speak with in our group 2? And I can share my screen from the list that you gave me that we haven't touched upon. Okay.
Let's take a look.
I can make it bigger.
You noticed me squinting, is that right?
No problem. There you go.
Okay, great.
So I believe we've had some interaction with the audit committee by email.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl Jones we're getting. Chris Kaiser declined. Tiger, we've got. Albert Bassett, we got. Jack Horner, we've spoken with.
Yep.
Tucker will have today. Andrew's coming in. Ignore this status column. I have to update this. Andrew is coming in on the 3rd. The
Yep.
ethics board we've had.
Yep.
Bob Hamill.
Yep. He's Board of Finance.
Yeah.
So if you note on the February 17th full commission, we've carved out some time for any remaining Board of Finance or board or town council members who want to say something. I've heard from maybe one or two.
Okay. Todd, we've heard from. Anne, we've heard from. Sven has deferred to Jack, which is what we heard in that interview. Beth, we heard from. Stephen Grosso, we have not heard from. Board of Finance, we heard from. ZBA will have one person today. I have followed up again with those 2 people on for Zoom evening. Conservation Commission, we never heard from at all. I've done a couple of those. And Health and Human Services.
In
I
terms
can-
in terms of the survey, I did look at the most recent summary, but I actually either didn't notice or forgot to look at how many people have responded, Jen. I just forget the number.
Uh,
Ballpark.
It's about 50.
I thought it was 60.
50.
Yeah, but it's about the same. I mean, hasn't changed dramatically.
No, there hasn't been a
Yeah.
huge uptick.
Yeah. So I guess,
Um,
Kathleen, when are we going to wrestle that question of mailing it out?
Oh, I have answers. I've been
Okay.
working on that. So I have put out to 2 printing shops a proposal for postcards. One side would be printed, the other one would be the mailing side. It would have a CRC QR code and a brief blurb about what this is. I'm waiting for the other estimate. I've got one from a place called, that was recommended to me called, I believe it's QD, here in Norwalk. And they would actually also do the mailing, so we could use their permit, for that. That would make it very easy. And we could also use their permit for first class mail because, as you know, bulk sometimes gets lost, etc. It is coming in about $5,000 from that one. Now, what I also did to save us a little money was I got the registered voters list. And then what I did was if you have the same last name and you live at the same address, then I would call you a household. And we went down from 14,000 plus or minus to 8,323. So that would be the mailing list then that would be used. So for instance, my husband and I have a different last name. We'd each get a card because that logic doesn't apply. But for some others, it would obviously be one card for that household.
Yeah, 8,000,
8,000-ish.
the methodology is fine, but 8,000 is fine as well.
And then I figured we could get a few extra just to hand out at coffees.
Yeah. And the other question would be, when you said registered voters, it would be all registered voters
All.
irrespective of party designation. That's terrific.
Exactly.
Pretty inexpensive. I was waiting for your number, and I probably shouldn't say much more if I just leave it there.
So hopefully I'm awaiting the last quote from Minuteman, I believe it's called, a Minute Press or something down in Norwalk, to see what they come in at, and then we can take a decision on which way to go.
So I think it's Minuteman, but double check me on this. Did you ask the registrar who they use for their print?
I've asked around at town hall also. Yep.
And those are the 2
Yep.
companies they use. Okay, great. So I'm looking at the survey results that you have
60.
provided. It's 60. Yeah.
Okay. Still pretty
And-
low.
Yeah. And so you're getting like, 10 or more a week or something like that. It sounds like. I also read the comments too, and and I've done a couple of public speaking engagements. I've got a couple more as well. Um, and one of the comments here, or several of the comments here said, I don't know what the charter says. Thank you for the survey, but I don't think it's useful if I don't know what the survey is or what's being discussed, et cetera. And so I reiterate my position that I think as we go further and the press picks up things that we're reviewing and so forth, there's going to be more information there for people to respond to. So again, I'm not suggesting that all this should go out tomorrow because I think you're going to get some of the same responses. And I think it's more. I'd rather hear from people who had a chance to take a look at, if not the charter itself, at least what our comments are, what the
Yeah.
main themes are.
But I mean, I would imagine, I assume we have to appropriately so discuss this with the whole group, which would be February 17th.
Yep.
Yes.
And then, probably wouldn't be mailed until,
Takes a week.
say again, week?
Takes a week. So
Yeah.
I also inquired about that. If
Yeah,
we
so the
start process on a
24th to
Monday, it
25th.
goes
Yeah.
out on a Friday.
And then if we're really lucky, the mail will get it there by early March. All right. I mean, it's
Pretty
going to
good.
take time, right? So, so that's not bad, Kathleen. Early March is
Yeah.
articles, stuff in the paper, and you know, I
Yeah.
think also on some of the issues, without getting specific on any individual one, people probably have a feeling pro or con based upon experience, right? And then a lot of other things they may not know about. So they'll at least provide input on something. So yeah, I think it'll be good.
I also
Plus,
think, why don't we talk about extending the date too? Instead of going to, we had originally said March 15th.
Yeah. It'll depend on the mailing. I'm happy with that. That's not a problem extending
yeah,
it. If you're
I
sending
hadn't,
it out,
I
Because
March.
hadn't
then
thought
you
of
could get pre-people before we produce anything and also post-people. You can capture
it.
both audiences.
Yeah. And we can, advertise more by just referencing the postcard. Not
Yep.
everybody's going to keep it, but a lot of people will have it in their mail.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the time of year, a lot of the 8,000 people are probably away, although in March they may start coming back if they're not, if there's residency issues, they're not going to be back till May. There's nothing we can do about that.
Most of the parents of school children are here. I would say the large
That's
majority.
true. That's true. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Uh, uh, okay, yeah, no, I think I've been reading all the responses. I think we've been getting some good responses. Um, and it's like, oh, and the first selectman just put out today in her newsletter another little piece on it with the link. Um, I have met with I thought the Sentinel did a nice piece, uh, half page on just the comments that the people have been giving at the meeting. So that I thought that was good. I'm meeting with the seniors at Lapham Center. Aggie sending out an invitation there. I'll put together the calendar list. The library has also invited us to speak. And by the way, you're anybody's welcome. So you'll have the dates. So while I'll be given the overview, and then yesterday met with a small group called the Roundtable Group. Met with a couple of other small committees, etc. So that's getting out there.
Okay. So yeah, next step is waiting for Minuteman to get back with the Minute Press or whatever it's called again.
They're good. They're very good. Minuteman. I've used them. They're great.
Yep, to get me a price, and I think we've sorted through the mailing permit issues. It's just easier to use theirs. I don't have to apply for a permit. From that point, we should have something hopefully by Tuesday. I will have all that wrapped up, at least for us to make a decision. All right. Okay, one last thing to share since we're gonna do some housekeeping here. I put together, because I was getting a little nervous about where we are, what we're doing, how far we've come.
Good. I got the same thing. Great.
Um, so essentially, I will change this. This was as of last night. I will change this. We had two themes. One was elected versus appointed town officers. I think we're referring there to the clerk and the treasurer mainly. So I think we're going to have Claudia on the 17th,
All right.
and then now we have Andrew Brooks in March 3rd. So I will update that. All right. And then I know there's been a bunch of analysis done on that from a variety of people. So I will pull together that information about other town clerks, other places, so we can put it into one package. Term
I
limit. Sorry.
different. The only comparable work that's also being done on elected versus appointed is on the boards and commissions, not the town officers. So I don't think there has been redundancy there. So all good work together. So
Okay. Yep. I think Steve Case had pulled some data and sets together from that group that was been meeting.
yeah,
That
CC, yeah.
CCM group. Yep. So we can take that in. Term limits, I think I saw the email from Steve Case, sort of reflects exactly what we knew from the CCM. I guess we're awaiting input from council.
Yeah, he's going to speak on Tuesday. I put him first because we always run out of time. So he's going to comment on term limits as well. Yes.
Okay.
And
What about his, there were a couple of questions and,
yeah,
maybe you sent something out, but if you did, I haven't read it, but
no, it's just on the agenda. He's just an update. And he's going to be talking about term limits. He's going to be, sorry, my list is not in front of me, but he's going to be talking about term limits. He's going to be talking about the town seal. He's going to be talking about what else? He's
how
already,
about the question of partially elected,
yeah,
partially
he's going
appointed?
to talk about that. Yep. The hybrid. In fact, he's spoken to me about that already, but we've not had a chance for him to speak to the full commission. Um, and there's one other, but I can't off the top of my head think about what it is. But it's the seal, it's term limits, and it's the hybrid, and possibly one other.
So I
There's
think on
another.
term limits, what Steve sent out was that independent group he had sort of said there's, you know, some people for it, some people against it. It's unclear in the state charter and so on. Um, so I'm just trying to figure out how we resolve something like that, and then trying to avoid a problem. That's an area where some members of the committee might want real independent council input, going back to our original conversation. I'm just wondering, Kathleen, have you thought about that, how that might work its way through?
So a suggestion, and welcome your input on this, is let's go through. So on the term limits, as an example, the material that Steve shared with us was only about elected positions. It was not about appointed positions, and that's clearly permissible in terms of appointed positions. So there's a kind of several layers of this question. Term limits on a elected position, whether it's a town council, whether it's town clerk or town treasurer. I think the materials that we've seen, I know the materials that the things that I've heard from council is that it's not. Some people do have it. Some towns do have it, but it's not clear. It's in fact silent in the state statutes, and there's been the legal review from some CRC lawyers have said it can be challenged in the courts.
Yeah.
And so I mean, we as a commission first should just discuss that, like, do we want to even take this up? Do we want to? And then if the answer is yes, then we obviously are going to need some further legal counsel. If not, I think we as a commission make that decision.
Mhm.
Second one would be term limits on appointed positions and and bodies. And that is for us to decide. I don't know that there's any legal review that we need, but because that exists, as you know, well know, in the
Yep.
audit. And so that should be easy. It's a yes or no based on what the commission
Yeah.
input is. So I don't know that we need any other than the legal advice in terms of, what I think will be consistent with what you saw in CCM.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then the only other thing I still had on my notes to follow up on was Todd. We were supposed to have Todd
Yeah.
last meeting.
Margaret.
He couldn't make that. So are we going to reschedule him or?
So I sent a note to all of the Board of Finance members and all of the town council members saying, look, you have another opportunity to come and speak to us. Please provide something in writing if you can't make the meeting. And if there's any reason to have another meeting set aside with group two, we're happy to do that. But I think we're giving people lots of opportunities
Yeah,
to,
that's fine.
and I'm not going to chase people
No, I
down.
agree with you. I agree with you. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially, I mean, people, I'm not saying this about Todd, but some people might have a reason they don't want to come. That's fine.
Oh, I think it's just more of a schedule than
Yeah,
anything else.
I know, but it could be, could be what it is, right? I
Well,
mean,
and I think he
and
was
Todd's
well.
been here. Yeah, Todd's been here. He spent an
He's
hour.
been already, and and I think he's been well represented by those members who have spoken. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okie doke.
Uh, let's see. So I'm looking at your notes here, Jen. The review article column, is that us going through, or is
Yeah.
that by the speakers? Okay, yeah,
So
okay.
I basically broke this into two sections. Did we have any representation from anybody who we felt we needed based upon the interview list, which is the interview column? And
Yeah,
then have we actually gone through and reviewed the article ourselves as a group?
yeah,
Um, so where are we in some of that?
yeah,
Um, and basically, if there was any outputs from this, and I'll send this around so everyone can look at it. What were they and what needs to be done? Like what was still outstanding or out there? So if we go through Article 2, obviously we'll have a bunch of town officers, but basically we have in there that we need to make some minor tweaks, minor changes to Article 2. And the last thing that was basically big was that we agreed or we were debating putting a separate article together for the town treasurer. The town clerk has his or her own separate article, so maybe a treasurer one would be applicable there. I'm happy to put together sort of a structure of what one would look at. So if you notice there's a rhythm like roll, obviously those types of things that are in each article. And I'm happy to put a framework together to do that if everyone's okay. So we can start to slot that in and also take that one sentence from Article 2, and don't quote me this morning, um, that we have in there that was basically sort of in there was an orphan, we called it. Yep.
right, yeah. We in our conversation with the CFO this afternoon, that could be helpful also to kind of get her sense of the role of the town treasurer. I'm sure that's part of the conversation, but
Yep.
uh, yeah,
I think I think we need to be a little careful on that subject because either maybe I ought to recuse myself because there's a lot of things happening there that
well, we'll ask that you speak not in reference to any particular individual, but rather about the role itself. Are you okay with that, Bill?
yeah, that'd be good. I just it's sort of like you were a CEO, Kathleen, it's sort of like your subordinates evaluating you.
Yep.
I mean, I realize we don't have those solid lines in town, and I'm not suggesting that there's a
Yeah.
reporting line there, but I think we need to keep things in context.
Yeah. Again, I'd rather talk about the position than rather than the
Yeah,
individual.
that's fine. Talk about the position. Yeah.
Okay, so on Article 2, what we probably need to do is put together sort of a working draft of anything that's left over,
Yeah.
so that we could have that marked up. Um, and then we can send that around so we can call that one in really good shape, if that's all right.
Yeah. Do you want me to do that, Jen, or you've got that already?
I did one. I'm happy to just finish it off and tweak it.
Okay.
I can do that one.
Okay.
Next one's Board of Finance. So we have potentially, we've had some good traction there. It's this one here. We have obviously the CFO coming in and potential additional board members. We've had the board come in as well. And we've had a second, obviously, dialogue too with Chris Labrie and other remaining members recently. So I just marked that article in progress.
Yeah.
We probably are at the point, if I'm thinking about the process, that we need to start to do a minor markup on it. Uh,
Yeah.
yep.
I would just add on that one, Jen, is that I think we've had the discussion that, oh, you already have it, separate audit article. Yeah.
Yep. And we also need to clean up that whole sewer taxing district piece was from,
Yeah, that still remains and I think a very open item, obviously. Well, they're all open items, but we got to dig into this further about where it belongs and so forth. From my own research, just that I did not find, and I might have missed it myself, but we talked at length about the Water Pollution Control Authority, and it's not indicated in the charter at all. And so it is in ordinances and so forth. And I'm thinking that whatever change, if there is one, about the Board of Finance and the Water Pollution Control Authority, that would be done at a ordinance level.
right. That will get me to my next thing that we talked about. But yep, I agree. Or as Chris Labrie sort of suggested, at least it comes out of the middle of something. It sort of got inserted into the middle of something else and goes to the end of the Board of Finance
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think when Chris spoke about, I think when Chris spoke about it, I don't think the finance committee is spending a lot of time on this, and I don't think it's a main topic. So, and it's probably going to become more and more important, particularly with affordable housing, more and more units going in. So, and it might be good to. I could see why you might want to have it separate from the finance committee, but I could see why you might want to keep it in the finance committee. But I think maybe Kathleen, you should have a conversation with Deanna about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's,
I think it's outside of the charter anyway, in terms of where the reporting line is.
yeah, but there's a lot of stuff happening around affordable housing,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
both pro and con, and so the taxing district might be something that's important more important in the future, and so the town should have a real strategic view as to where that should be.
Yeah. I think what I understood is that the taxing district portion, just like, well, sewer is used, water might be another one if that ever came into play, but the taxing portion, Board of Finance seems to be the logical place. However, the everything else, engineering and otherwise, which is also part of WPCA, that piece of it either becomes part of say a separate sewer commission or a part of the utilities commission or part of something else. That's the question, I think, is that, sort of separating the what needs to be decided in terms of tax versus what needs to be decided in terms of decisions about lengthening a pipe or what have you. That's still unclear to me, so that requires further discussion.
Yeah.
I think though, because it's in Board of Finance, they're basically the governing body,
They
which is
are now, for sure. Yeah.
why they had to vote on
Yes.
the pipe on the Weed Street matter, basically. And I think
Yeah.
there was, my impression was that there was a little confusion as to what they were voting on, what they were doing. And I can agree. I mean, they normally handle matters of taxing and finance. So I could easily see where this, along with other municipality offerings like water, sewer, whatever, goes into a utilities commission. And then that has a dotted line with Department of Works, right? as part of it because I'm going to show you something in a second. I did do a little bit of work on the who reports to whom, which is what we were talking about last week. There's some older documents that have been circulated, which I don't believe are accurate, but what I replicated, and I'll show you in a second. I'll take you through that. Yeah. So, okay. So Article 5, we still need to work on. And there are some cleanups that need to be done, and maybe we'll start that post additional board members for next week if we get anybody.
Yep.
Okay. And meanwhile, I will strip out, and I owe you this, the audit provisions so that we can then start to build its own article, if that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, and again, we don't have to get into this now, but I think what it structurally will do is will have its own article that follow maybe Board of Finance, just in terms of, having some sort of cadence. And then all the subsequent articles will just bump up one, assuming, and actually maybe town treasurer goes somewhere in there too, so maybe they're bumped up two, but we'll figure that out.
Okay. Article 5, I'm sorry, the Fire Commission, sorry, Article 8. Article 8 we had was basically, I think we've completed all of our interviews. I think we can say that that's been done. We've reviewed the article at least once. We need to make some basic edits, and we need to have the discussion about 3 versus 5, and also get clarity on the grievance section, which hopefully we will get that from Cheryl in 2 weeks.
She and we can even ask her if she wants to send it in advance, but she and Jack Horner have had a conversation, so she understands what he would like also, or who he recommends also. So, and she says it's quite easy. So,
Yep,
just
I
chat.
sent her actually the language too in my follow-up email today.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I think we're in pretty good shape on that one. I don't know how everyone feels.
Agreed.
Bill, you okay with
I
that being
agree, yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Conservation Commission, no response. We haven't reviewed the article. It is a shorty, not a big one. Reached out multiple times on the interviews. What would we like to do here?
Well, we'll give it one more shot, and well, I mean, let's review it. Let me just take a quick. I haven't even reviewed it.
I have it up for the today if we wanted to do that. Maybe
Okay.
get a quick win.
Yeah, but we do. Well, maybe if we do have any change, or if we say there is no change, we'll just let them know and say, look, you have this window to come back to us and
Yeah.
respond. That's all.
And I think, was it you who said that this was a new article from the last charter review, actually brand new put in?
Correct.
So, okay. Yep. Okay. Town employees and ethics board. We have obviously Tucker and Cheryl coming in as well. We've actually reviewed the article, which is great. And we need to make updates to the ethics section, is what we agreed with. That was most of the biggest substantive change that we know today.
And those updates, if you want to be even more specific, which I think were substantive, or growing from, was it, having 2 alternates.
2 alternates, yeah, that's in the ethics section. So we did do a markup on that.
Yeah.
And but I'd say my feeling is, other than something like something we haven't anticipated, we're in pretty good shape on that one.
I think so too.
Who does, maybe you remember, Jennifer, I could look it up, but whom does Ally report to? It's Ally's the chair, right?
She's a chair.
Yes, she is.
Who does
She
she
is the interim chair. There is no direct report. Well, this goes to that other piece, and we can bring it up. There is no direct reporting. Remember, we had that discussion?
There's
Yeah.
right.
So we didn't resolve, that's still an open item.
It's an open item on a number of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would seem to me, well, we can discuss that, but it would just seem to me maybe it should be the chairperson of the town council, or the chairperson and and the assistant chairs would be fine too, a group of three or somebody. But, I don't think anybody in town, because generally speaking, if it's an ethics issue, it relates to the town. It's generally pretty independent. We don't have a general counsel, so, a corporation, if you keep it within the management structure, it's frequently the general counsel. But
We have a town council, this small SEL.
yeah,
That's
but it's outside. That's out. I mean, I'm not
yeah.
trying to keep it as independent. I mean, it's great work. You did great things. It's just would seem to be, and I think it gets the town council more engaged in some of this stuff, to be truthful with you, which I think is a good thing. Anyway, that's just a thought.
No, that's a good point. I agree. Um, and then we have public works, which we haven't started. We will get Tiger on 226. And then we have so we need to review that article. We still need to have some dialogue there. So no status in the sense, but that's sort of in progress. If everyone agrees on that. And then ZBA, we have Alex Snyder hopefully today at 2:30, and we still need to review the article.
Back on the Public Works Department, and again, we've heard this from both the public and occasionally from members of town council, et cetera, about whether or not a commission would be appropriate for public works. And so obviously we'll hear from Tiger. I'm just off the top of my head, I can't recall whether the first selectman commented on this. I don't believe she did. But I would also suggest that in several cases that our report not only will address these articles, but if appropriate, we will also be addressing or recommending if some of these organizations, say a Public Works Commission, we recommend that to, let's say we would assume that would be appropriate. That would be recommended to the town council, but they would have to take that on in terms of whether or not they wanted to develop an ordinance, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, there would not be any ability for right now, given the timing, et cetera, for the commission to take that on.
What do you mean by Kathleen, by the timing? Had they given us more time, we could have taken that on?
Well, just as an example, on the audit committee, we were running in parallel with the town council as the town council was developing the audit committee, got the ordinance in place and so forth. Oh, and by that same time, the commission was also engaged, and it became a good way to introduce it to the charter. But we wouldn't even be in the concept phase of the public works today. And so that takes some time.
Right, right. So maybe I understand what you're saying, and then if the town council would consider it, they would either say bad idea, good idea, and then if they say good idea, if they say bad idea, nothing changes. There's nothing to do. If they say good idea, then what has to happen at that point?
So their process is through their subcommittee bylaws and ordinances, they would begin the process of researching what would take place if one were to put together a public works commission, compare other towns, et cetera, et cetera.
Should we not, if we were to recommend that or anything else similar, should we take it as far as doing the research, because that's what we would have done in the past?
A lot of that research has been done, so sure.
So maybe what I was sort of thinking with Jennifer's analysis she had, if we could add, either modify the analysis, whatever. It's easy for me to offer, but Jennifer would have to do it because she's got the skill. Set up two more columns, and in one column would be, sort of big changes we're recommending in each of the categories, whatever they might be. And then the next column might be, it's going to the town council, we're doing the research, and just so it becomes clearer as we get to the end.
Yes, absolutely. What's charter related, what's not charter related. Sure.
And my thinking was at the end of this, we would output, just so we're all on the same page, because I think, Bill, you bring up a good point. We'd output any actual physical recommended changes to the articles. It would be a markup, like in red. And then to your point, Bill, to any substantive or any changes is that then the town council needs to do. And then I wanted to show you all one thing that I worked on because I promised this, and I did start it. I have not finished it, but this one sort of went to our discussion last week. So just for everyone's knowledge, there's an old thing they call the org chart. I'll show it to everybody here that seems to be floating around. And then I also took, I believe this either came from Kim Norton or Christina Ross, a listing of all the appointed boards and commissions, and then there was an elected. So what I did was I took the old org chart, and Kathleen and I think Bill, you may have also heard this as well. We sort of asked the fire commission, who do you think you report to? They believe the Board of Selectmen, but it isn't anywhere in the charter. So I recreated this, and everything in green is in the charter. So these are actually part of the articles of the charter or referenced in the charter. Now, I may not have everything completely perfect as we speak on this, but just to give you a sense, so this is the old org chart. These are also things in the charter. And then I think may have been Kathleen after we had out at the fire commission interviews, we were talking about all these other sort of entities or commissions or committees that exist. And like TDAC, RPAC, I believe we were having a bit of an alphabet conversation last week. There is one for Family Fourth, Historic Review, Historic District Commission, and I actually also Blight Review. The Blight Review team group is 5 people. I will put numbers of people by this. There is a Utilities Commission that has 9 people on it. And I began to sort of lay this out as to all these sort of entities that are out there, but we need to sort of talk about how potentially they should appropriately report, or where do they live and what's their common families. Yep, going to reporting concept.
So you mean, for example, I'm trying to pick one that's shouldn't be controversial, but like blight review, that right now, to the best we can tell, it doesn't report to anybody. It's just a committee or a commission.
It's an appointed board or commission. It has 5 people. And I need to do a little more research in the ordinances,
Right,
but
right.
that exists, right?
That exists, but in theory doesn't report to anybody. It's just
I
that.
believe it would have a relationship probably with the zone a planner, right?
Uh,
Probably. You would think
It
so.
does.
It does.
I'm pretty sure. Um, I can't think of his name now, but I think maybe even the building committee. I think it falls either under the planner or public works, actually. Um,
But to your hesitation, Kathleen, I'm willing to go do this research just to be sure to understand where things are going
yeah,
so that we can basically make a much more clearer, more updated organizational chart that
yeah.
also reflects truly what's the wording in the charter. So
So
for instance, we'll pick one we know probably better, or at least I do. The Fire Commission. The Fire
yeah,
Commission doesn't in the charter report to anybody, but I think Bill, you made some interesting points about if its importance. And Jack Horner also believes that they report to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, for me, I'm less concerned about whom someone reports to, but having a group that doesn't report to anybody just doesn't seem to make sense. And I think, philosophically, if everything, you could come up with the answer that everything should reports to the Board of Selectmen. You could come up with that answer, or you could come up with an answer, some things go to the town council, some things go to the Board of Selectmen. And then, we should, I think documenting that would be important, putting that out there. If someone wanted to move it around, I don't think I'd have a problem moving something around. Like if someone said that the fire commission should report to the police commission, maybe that's okay. They should report to somebody. There should be some sense of just send it out there by themselves. And well, and what I'm trying to avoid is someone saying, well, don't call me. I have nothing to do with that.
Right.
Somebody in town. So that's where I am. So I would vote for, you know, continuing, and I would vote for us at the end suggesting lines of reporting. Town council can change it, I assume, or somebody could change it.
Well, you can't change it if it's in the charter. So again, this particular org chart or earlier version of not in the charter. I think it was part of the budget book initially, and we can make suggestions to it that they should codify it in some form. But once you put it in the charter, it's there for 10 years before anybody can do anything about it. So
I think we should just understand what the as is state is, and then to
I
that
agree.
point, and
I
then begin to also understand where there's potentially even, let's say, even we don't codify that the fire commission reports to the Board of Selectmen, right? But what if they provided a report to the town council or the Board of Selectmen or something? Um,
I think I would rather, I understand what you're saying, hardline. Kathleen, could you not, as a hypothetical, write in, this is the organization chart we all agree with, put it into the charter, but then also put a sentence in that, this could be modified with the approval of the town council or something. Is that something that's possible?
Again, I don't know who owns this organization chart right now. It's just something that has been lifted from the budget report, I believe. And who owns it and who's responsible for it. I think this could be the recommendation to the town council. I would not put an org chart in the charter personally.
Well, the problem with the problem, I understand why you're saying that from a mechanical standpoint, but if we feel strongly that the fire commission should report to the selectmen, I think we,
Sure, that's different. Yeah. I mean, again, that wouldn't be in an org chart. Yeah, it'd be in a statement in the article. Um,
and I
so
think that's something we should have at that. Same with
yeah,
the police commission, right?
yeah.
So if the
yeah,
police,
well, there's two things. One, to whom do they quote report if that's a thing? And that's a state, we should look at the state statutes on both of those as well. And then the second thing is whether or not the first selectman would also think about, or this could be separate, would be ex officio on both these commissions. The first selectman is on, I think, virtually, if not all, of the other boards and commissions, not on police and not on fire. And that needs to be investigated. I'm not taking a position one way or the other. I'm just saying that is different than the other boards and commissions, also subject to state statutes potentially and worth investigating.
Yeah, what I'm trying to, well, two things. One, you refer to as a first selectman, and for me, I would just, if I was running the town, if I was first selectman and I had five selectmen, I would just allocate it amongst the selectmen. I don't think it has to be one person, when you say ex officio. But putting that aside for a moment, um, what I'm trying to avoid going forward into the future is you look at the bottom of this chart, the Board of Education is separate and untouchable.
Correct.
And
And that's
I just don't think all the other boxes, I mean, I don't know what kind of a town we have if everything becomes separate and untouchable. I don't want to go in that direction, what I'm getting at.
yeah. Well, the Board of Education by state statute is
No,
separate.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but you said state statute for the commission, the fire commission. Where do you draw the line? Is what I'm getting at, So we ought to have as many solid lines or dotted lines as we possibly can, whether it's in the charter or in a proposal. That's fine.
I think an easy one would be the parking commission. So the parking authority manager right now, according to that chart that's floating, reports to the administrative officer. Maybe they should be reporting to the parking commission.
Yeah. So yeah, they're an employee. We just had that discussion in group 2 yesterday. Uh, worth looking at. So and more work being done there. But yes, the parking department, formerly called the Parking Bureau, reports to, and it's changed from time to time, but right now it's to the administrative officer. So they are employees of the town, and they report to the administrative officer. They, of course, also report to the commission in terms of just like the CFO does, reports to the Board of Finance. Same thing with the parking department head, reports to the parking commission.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot of
Yeah.
we could probably do some better organization here. Yep. Such as the historical review, historical district,
They're coming in, I think they're coming into group 3.
right. Where as a family they should flow to.
Yeah, I mean,
And
good question. I serve on the Affordable Housing Committee, Commission Committee. I assume that's one and the same, but I assume we're reporting to the town council, was formed by the town council, I assume, and the first selectman. I would see, joint reporting lines, but maybe not.
you have representation from P and Z, Board of Finance, and town
Yeah.
council.
Lots of representation on there, yeah. But I mean, in some things, affordable housing, I don't think it's going to be around forever, so maybe it doesn't matter. But those things that are around forever, knowing and it's never important until it becomes important, right?
Well, on that score, then, Bill, I mean, the town treasurer and town clerk, I mean, who do they report to?
They don't at the moment.
Whom
And
the-
so we sort of need to figure that out. There's no explicit town clerk. So they're green, means they're in the charter, by the way, just a reminder. But they have no reporting lines in.
Yeah, well, that's a good question. If I hadn't thought about for elected officials, that is a good question, who they report to. But it would seem to me that um,
There is no oversight on either one.
well, it seemed to me that when who does the who else do we have elected?
Registrar?
How does if you're not the first selectman, who's the second and third selectman report to?
They're part of the board.
To whom?
They're part of the Board of Selectmen.
But they don't report to anybody. They're just there.
They're elected. Same thing,
Register of voters are also elected.
right? Constables.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
But he's
So-
elected doesn't, yeah, so it's probably state statute.
Well, again, I think our definition of reporting or responsibility to, or what have you, is kind of our own determination that we're coming up with. I want to revert back
That's
to
fine. That's fine.
charter. I want to focus
Yeah,
on
no, that's fine. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So why don't I since we all seem to, I'll continue with this work, continue laying out, continue doing a little more due diligence, and then report back, not next week, but the following. That'll give me enough time to. That's good. But I did want to share that with you because I did promise that.
Thank you for that.
All right, no problem. All right. So I think we've got did a lot of good of housekeeping. All righty. Would we like to look next at the conservation article?
Sure. Why not?
Let's-
That might stir some people to respond, right?
Thought so too. Okay. Now let me get that up for us. Hold tight. Apologies. Okay, very simple article. Easy peasy. Let's put this moving. There we go. I can make it larger too. Okay. Scroll up. So, a 5-member committee who shall be electors of the town. Right here we're at. Composition qualifications.
No change.
I don't think there's any change. Okay. 11.2. Honor promptly, similar language that's throughout the charter for other entities. Appointments, terms of office. Now this one's interesting. Shall hold an office for a term of 2 years. So this is a 2-year term entity.
Um,
So they go every 2 years.
yeah,
I'm not sure. My one question would be, is that long enough? Do people want to serve 3?
yeah, yeah. That I mean, that's definitely shorter,
And
uh,
most? Yep.
with the exception of the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
So,
Um, then they'll choose one of its members to be a chairman and one of its members to be a secretary. Obviously, they have to have 3 members to constitute a quorum, and the concurrence of 2 votes shall be necessary for the transaction of business. I have no issues
I
with
think
that.
if you want to make a recommendation change, I guess I would change it to 3 years if we could do that. Only because 2 years is so short, and I think we know the process that people go through to,
yep.
you know,
Yep. Okay.
And especially if you went to, just hypothetically, if you went to term limits,
yeah,
it's just too short. You said 3 terms, let's say, just hypothetically, that would be pretty short, 6 years.
right, absolutely.
Yep. And then the last one is powers and duties. Um, seems reflective of all the rest of the language.
So there was, I recall, I think the first report from the Charter Revision Commission 10 years ago did not have Conservation Commission in it. And what came back from the town council, as I recall, was that let's put the Conservation Commission in it. So I point that out that there's going to be, some that have made it. Utilities Commission did not get inserted. Maybe it should for this time around, don't know. But that's just one of them that was put forward by the town council after the first report, I believe.
What does
If
this group do? Anybody know?
It, let's get them in here. I think that would be important, but they go through, conservation of. I'm trying to think of who's was the chair. She's now head of Robin Bates Mason. I think was the conservation chair before taking on the land trust. Before her, it was Chris Shipper. So I mean, very qualified individuals, and what's on their agenda, I couldn't tell you. But
If we would
So,
if we would do something with John Engel's suggestion, back when would that fit in here at all?
that's preservation.
No, I know, but I
but,
mean,
but, but I agree with Bill to a certain degree because here's what their charter is. It was created to keep an inventory, defining the town's open space and to evaluate these lands and for proper and potential use.
You're right. It's open space. Yeah.
And it's basically right now for just natural resources. We will also seek to advise in the development of management and protection and conservation of our natural resources and to coordinate our activities with existing town committees, commissions, departments, and with other conservation bodies. Um, so I think,
Like Planet New Canaan, I think is an example there.
right. So to Bill's point, though, who is keeping the preservation, uh, let's say,
yeah,
arm?
yeah.
Yep.
The, either preservation, you mean the historical preservation or the conservation or both?
Just put it all together, put both. I just say, I
Yeah.
mean, if someone said no, we should have it separate. I'm not going to fall on that sword, but I'm just saying, I think picking up on John's suggestion,
Yeah.
folding it into a committee or commission might be a good way of approaching it. And then, then at some later date, they could, 10 years from now, they could separate it if they needed to.
Well, it's
My
interesting in Conservation Connecticut, which is an organization that is working as a state level. Um, they also include in their mandate and charter, it is a private group, but they do have a representation from the state of Connecticut on their board mandatorily, which is appointed by Lamont. They do they do consider too open space to be part of their mandate. So preservation and conservation there seems to have joined very well in terms of what happens, which is where I was going as well.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're suggesting, because we're going to be talking to, it's not in the charter, but historical preservation and historical review committee, those two. I'm not sure why they're separate, but we're going to be looking at the both of those. So you're suggesting to somehow coordinate those two together, both
Yeah.
conservation and preservation?
Because even at a state level and at a grant level, um, in preservation, there is also the ability to conserve or protect open space as part of a mandate. So, for instance, you they put it's Preservation Connecticut, they also put that as part of their charter
Right.
to support. Yeah. And
So
I mean, I
the
see
only,
it, to me, I just see it as two important things in town, and I don't think either one is so gigantic. So I just putting it in one place to me makes sense, but there may be some reasons
I
why.
think there's obvious reasons why, they certainly have uh, specific, responsibilities and so forth and oversight. I guess my one comment will be, I think this might come under the recommendations to town council
Yeah, yeah.
area, as it would be, putting two commissions together would be something that they'd have to start with in terms of an ordinance.
Well, John's suggestion, maybe I was wrong. I didn't realize that was he, I thought he was asking us to do something new, add something new.
So yes, what his suggestion, and we can get him back or he can comment on this, is language in the charter that specifically references that preservation and
Right.
uh, conservation, although I think he did say preservation, I might be wrong about that, but open space for sure, and is paramount to who we are and how we think about our community, et cetera. And so somehow that
Yeah,
to
so I'm picking
that,
up on your earlier suggestion. I think
yeah,
we just go to the town council and say, this is a good suggestion.
yeah.
We think we should fold it in here. And if they want to do it differently, they can do it differently.
Mhm.
so let's be careful. There's a historic district commission which
Yeah,
deals with designated historic districts, which are designated by the State Preservation Office. It's called
right.
SHIPO.
Based on an application by
Right,
district.
and the criteria has to meet a certain set of sort of thresholds um, to then be sort of deemed a historic district. We actually have two in New Canaan. One is Silver Mine, that is actually a designated one, and the second one is in and around the town. There is sort of, excuse me?
Church Hill.
Well, Churchill is part of it, but there's also houses that are also within that boundary
Yeah.
that then qualify at a state level for certain grants and you know things that run with the house or the entity to support the preservation of those structures. So,
Right.
for instance, I just, for my own knowledge, I can tell you that my home has been designated by the state as well as at the federal level. Federal level doesn't get me anything. Um, but the state level, actually, we made the state list, which if we do sort of capital improvements, so let's say one of those houses in the historic district needs a new roof, they can then go to the state and get support for basically the replacement of the roof based upon certain parameters that then they get a tax credit towards. So of up to, I believe it's 30,000 per project. Now you don't get the full 30,000, I can tell you that. But essentially, there are mechanisms to support that sort of activity. It doesn't preclude people from doing things. So let's say, I wanted to paint my house purple and put on 6 skylights and build a tower. There's nothing that would stop me. Um, but in essence, the Historic District Commission sort of works on that. And I believe, I'll give you an example of the Red Cross building was not in the Historic District Commission. Um, there was discussions on how to put that in the Historic District Commission. But normally there's surveys done in all the structures in an area that then comprise of it to become an Historic District Commission that's designated by the state. Yeah. Then there's the Historical Review Commission group, which if a structure such as, for example, the Red Cross building is about to be torn down, that's where we get a separate entity. I believe Todd may have been on this group, on who's on our group, where they do demolition delays and they potentially try to find effective ways to save the structure, working with the property owner.
I
So
think we've
there's
got
the nuances between the two.
that was the committee formed
Yep.
in 2006. I'll double check this. I think Todd was on the commission, not the review committee, but we'll get him to
On
verify.
this story, he's probably on this story. He was on one of them. Yeah.
He's on the commission. The
Commission. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And he stepped down from that. So, um, yeah, I never understood why the two were separate.
Well, they sort of have different roles. There is a synergy between the two of them, but the historic district there, I agree they could be put together with whatever historic
Broad responsibility.
X we could call it,
Right.
could also oversee or support the districts.
Yeah. So group 3 is actually invited both of them in.
Oh,
So
okay, great.
we'll hear from them. Yeah. Because neither are in the charter.
Right. Going to John Ingalls Point.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Alrighty. What else would we like to do today? On our agenda.
We should do minutes
Yeah, should we do minutes?
or whenever if you think there's other things to.
I think we've discussed Article 5, what we're gonna do there. We've discussed the town treasurer, what we're gonna do there. We've discussed the audit one. We did review conservation, which was on the list. So we did that. I think we're in good shape as we agreed on the fire commission, excluding some of that discussion. So I think that we're in fairly good shape from what we put forward on our list. And we've had a discussion a bit about term limits. And then
Yeah.
we tackle elected officers for basically appointment versus election.
And I'll reach out to Tom Cronin on conservation with number 1, inviting him again, and number 2, saying we've reviewed it. The only change we see is to increase your term from 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I sent him a group email. I'm gonna send them that with the attachment if you don't mind too. If you reach out to him separately, that would be great. To say, look, we had a discussion, you should come and view the tape. And secondly, here's what we were thinking. Yep. Then we can get that done.
Okay.
All right.
It's anybody who looks at, and I should have done this earlier, but if you look at their page on the website, I mean, just a ton of things that they are not only open space, the Bristow Bird Sanctuary, water, pollinator pathways. There's a quiet, they're also the ones on the quiet neighborhoods, the gas powered leaf blowers, along with the town council, recycling, etc. So lots of great stuff there.
Very good.
Okay. Shall I do the minute? How many meetings have we had minutes for? Lots, right?
We have a few, yeah.
Let's get those done.
Shall we go backwards? Work from the fire commission minutes?
Sure. Let me pull those up.
Yeah, I've got them up here. All done, I'll share.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
No worries. All right. So these were the draft minutes.
Okay. I thought did I do, which ones did I do? What were the ones I just recently, the
Hold
one,
on, let me get these done. Hold on. Let me just stop and share.
yeah.
You want yours? The ones you
No,
did?
no, no, that's okay. I was just, no, that's fine.
All right.
Pull up the last one that you just pulled up.
All right, will do.
Uh,
Hold on a sec.
Fire Commission.
Let me just do this. Uh, okay, hold on. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm.
I can pull up the, if you're,
If you can go first, I just had one. I think I pulled up the wrong set. I have to pull up the one that's marked fine, draft final. Hold on here. Okay. Apologies.
no,
Here we go. I got it. All right.
beat me to it.
All right. We have quite a few of these. So this was February 5th. This is the morning meeting that we had in February 5th. So this is not the fire commission one. Apologies. I'm just gonna do, we'll do February 5th.
Okay.
Um, these were basically our administrative matters, what our interview schedule was for that day, um, updates on term limits, town resources, professional opinions.
So I think we tend to, and not that I find anything wrong with it at all, but we tend to put a lot of stuff in our minutes which aren't really necessary. They're a good resource to go back to and remind ourselves what did we talk about, so that's fine. But these wouldn't fall into the category of good minutes under the, for Robert's rules, etc. So I'm fine with the detail, but it's a little bit more than is necessary in minutes.
It's all, it's all recorded as well. It's all,
Exactly.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
So should we
either
cut him
way, I
back
mean,
some more? I want me to cut him back down?
yeah, I wouldn't waste any more, I mean, I wouldn't spend any more time on it, just, they're fine. And my point of being recorded is, I agree with Kathleen, it says typically it's shorter, but the whole thing's recorded anyway, it
Yeah.
almost doesn't matter, right? Either. So,
Okay.
yeah, no, but I think I wouldn't spend a moment. I think they're fine. I skim through them, you know.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
wouldn't,
we'll make him shorter going
I wouldn't
forward.
edit them out, but whatever you want to do is fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It would take more time for you to edit it down
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
than
That's
it's worth it. But just going forward,
yeah. No,
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's terrific. I mean, the amount of work you're putting in on this, Jennifer,
Amazing.
is
I
terrific.
mean,
Thank you.
is this what you did on Claude or?
So my process, I can tell you about my process, but yes, I take my notes, the transcript, I meld them together. I then put them into a format that's not UTF, whatever. I won't go into that, what that means, so that it can actually be digested by a model. And then I run them through Claude. I sanity check them. I think I sent Kathleen you once that we got from Zoom transcription, which I have to say told us that we had a 7 hour meeting, which we didn't. And I think there was something in there. So I cleaned them up to which they're a little more factual, representational, and then do some more edits on them, and then we send them out. So no worries. Yep.
Yeah.
That's sort
Uh,
of the process.
right.
Okay.
A lot of effort and time goes into that, and so we appreciate that. I would just as a second comment on the transcripts, which obviously basically everything that is spoken shows up in the written word. That's a pretty big, uh, and I don't think very few of us have actually done it. That's a lot of space that we're storing on the town thing. And I would suggest that we don't do those going forward because we have so many different resources. Adding the transcripts just is taking up more space in my view, and also can be pulled. I just would rather minutes as we, develop them. The video, obviously, again, important. I would not be putting transcripts through again, but that's just
Well, I
my.
think I think the transcripts are not put onto the website.
They're
That's not
not on the website, but they're in our storage, town storage.
right, which I think is a good thing to have in case things go missing. So, and they're normally just text files, TXT files,
They are.
not
Yeah.
ginormous at all in nature. I think they're good to have as sort of a dual control.
Well, we're not going to be consistent with that, is my point. So
Zoom automatically does them.
transcript, so you have to click on transcript.
No, they're automatically done for every meeting. You don't have to click on them at all.
So if I just put more, there's a thing that says transcript there, and you have to click on that for the transcript.
Yeah, but you automatically get a transcript no matter what with Zoom.
I think you have to select it. But anyway, let's start.
No, I'm pretty sure on that because we used it
Okay,
at work.
well,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep. The one I think you're using is then more AI generated, whereas this happens in the background in Zoom, so you don't have to hold that. No.
So I just pressed transcript, and so you can see it developing here on the right-hand side. If it's showing up for you, it is for me.
Yeah,
That
yeah. But
that
that's a more enriched one using AI and the
yeah,
actual verbiage. The one that gets done by Zoom automatically is in the background.
okay.
Yep. Yeah. So you don't have to click that at all. You'll still get a transcript.
All right, well, let's get rid of that. Anyway, uh, I
Okay.
think we can be a little bit more mindful of not having to do the detail here going forward, not suggesting any changes here other than correcting my name. And other than that, it's fine.
Super. We will do that. No problem. I'll do a control F. Great. So, all in favor of approving the March 5th, 8:30 meeting, say aye.
I'll make that
Uh,
motion.
Oh,
Approved,
sorry. Right. Make the motion.
approved.
Thank you.
Aye.
Great. All right. Kathleen, do you want to bring up the one that you did?
I have to send a request. I just typed in share and it says, are you the host?
Yep, just allowed.
Okay. Can you see it?
No. There we go.
So this is the draft meeting minutes of the 9th. And this is the Board of Finance, the members of the Board of Finance who were in attendance. There are 4 of them. Any comments or questions, suggestions on this? So basically just identified, again, the transcript was just huge. And then even when I did get your changes from the whatever AI system, it had things that weren't even in the transcript. I couldn't even understand it. So I took those out. So I just followed with my notes as to these being the key elements of the discussions on the composition, term limits, the appointment, uh, town council approvals on annual appropriations. My understanding is that there was not, it's basically general agreement that the current system works. Financial procedures and subcommittees. This is where we got into the pension subcommittee and the retirement PAC. and that this would be further discussion necessary here to decide whether, number one, they should be defined. I think we all agreed. In Article 5. Here's where the sewer district, the taxing district and water pollution control. Further discussion is recommended. I put in Water Pollution Control Authority is not in the charter. That was added by me afterwards, after reviewing the minutes. And we talked about audit committee, and then we adjourned. Any thoughts or changes?
No,
Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, December 9th, February 9th, excuse me, February 9th minutes, I will take out the word draft and I will send them to Sal for the final and approved meeting minutes. So that's 2.
Yeah.
Jen, what else do we have?
We just have the fire commission review. Let me find, I'm looking for those right now. With Beth Jones. It should be there. I've sent it to him. Hold on, I'll bring up my copy then.
I have it. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So this was the January 29th. It's the 1 p.m. Oh, this was the meeting that we had with the fire chief and the assistant fire chief and the fire marshal, right?
Right.
and the Board of Ethics as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought they were fine.
yeah, these are good. Yep. Any other comments?
Nope.
Okay, motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. By the way, what we'll do is for this meeting for minutes, separately, we have to post the votes.
Yeah,
And
I will put the chart together, don't worry.
yeah, I'll just say, you can say consensus or something. You don't have to put specific who was second specifically on minutes, but whatever makes it easier for you, Jen.
Yep, and let me
Okay.
find my last one.
3.
Uh, 3:30. No.
Do you want to take this one?
We did this one.
Oh, February 5th.
Go back.
Yep.
I have the same trouble. You always have to click on,
Yeah, I know.
you have to go in and out a lot.
Which
3:30,
one do you want?
February 5th, 3:30? 3:30. Sorry, I'm backseat driving here.
That's okay, good.
There we go. This is where you and I spoke to Beth Jones and Jack Horner.
Yeah, I think you did a great job here. Were you able to watch that, Bill? You're on mute.
Yeah, I said I actually forgot. I will make a note of that.
Okay. It was a good discussion. I think that Jen, I did review this already and I'm just re-looking at it and I didn't have any other comments. And since it was just you and other than my name, but other than
Sorry
that,
about that.
don't worry. And I think let's see, how was this going to work? Because it's only the 2 of us. So let's just vote on it. And I'll make a motion, you'll second, the 2 of us will approve. Okay.
I'll approve.
Bill can't approve it.
Right.
Okay. All right. So
All right, we're good.
you'll just clean that up. So we'll just
Yep.
be sending these to Sal. We're all done.
Yep, we're all done.
All right, good.
All right, so no meeting next week. Cheryl Jones has moved. We will get her to agree to work with 8:30. Then we have Tiger at 10. And we are basically set there for the 26th. In the meanwhile, what we can do is put the structure together for the town treasurer, continue the work for the reporting lines, um, finalize a markup on the fire commission one, because hopefully we'll get some good points on that done. Even in email back and forth to put it as some potential language. And you'll follow up on the Conservation Commission with that individual you know. I'll follow up with the markup on the language. And I think that's it. I have on my notes. Anything I missed?
Good.
Okay.
No, I think we're good. And so when we chat on Tuesday, obviously we'll get an update from the town council, the town attorney. We also have we want to hear an update. Obviously, if we're going to get the town clerk to speak, anybody from town council and board of finance who haven't already spoken, and then we'll talk about the town survey and where you are in terms of the mailer, and then we'll try to get into. I'm trying to put it together, similar to what you have, Jennifer. Um, for you have for group two. I'm doing it for all the groups is like whole chart so we can think about, okay, just a framework. Where are we? Where do we have to zone in on further discussion? Um, and so you'll see, I'll try to get you a draft of everybody that this weekend, not asking for comments, but so everyone's prepared to talk about it when we come on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'll send out my spreadsheet to you that I
Okay,
built.
perfect. I'll just, yeah, absolutely.
Want to append that? That's fine with the
Okay.
other stuff.
Is there anything we need to do? I mean, I would like to get those cards mailed out only because I want to get them mailed out. Is there anything that's going to be an obstacle at the meeting? I mean, look, if the committee votes against it, I guess that's an obstacle. But I mean, like the budget or something, will we?
Oh, that's a
I don't
good
want to have to
question.
wait 2 more weeks to get something approved. Is all I'm getting at. You know?
Yeah. No, that's a good question. So you'll have the general pricing, Jen, at that
I
meeting,
already have one estimate. I'm waiting for the second.
and it's give or take 5,000.
Yeah, let me see if anything's coming.
I'll just have to go back and look at the budget to see. I have no idea where we stand on legal expenses yet, which is the primary driver. So, and then whether or not we need to go to Board of Selectmen for approval on that, I don't know. I'll find out.
Okay.
We hadn't contemplated that in the budget, so it would be
Yeah, I
additive.
mean, I guess we contemplated using the mailing, yeah, so I mean, we're sort of internal cost versus external cost, right? So that's one might say it's in the budget, one might say no, it's hard dollars outside the budget, but you got the point.
Yeah, there's specific line items in the budget, so I don't know if it would fall under there. There's also contingency, so.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to get it out because it's just, messy if we don't. So that's good.
Yeah, I was hoping to get all that wrapped up before our vote.
Great.
We
Good
could get
work.
it voted, definitely. Yep.
And this afternoon, I mean, I don't know what Ann will say, but I mean, we have her for an hour, and is there some chance? I mean, could we call Snyder and ask him to come earlier? I guess we can't do that, or can Tucker be available earlier so we don't have to sit around? I mean, I don't know, maybe Ann will take an hour, in which case, but I can't imagine that's going to happen.
I think Tucker will probably be in and around, so she'll jump on if Anne finishes.
Want me to alert? You want me to alert her? Or you want me to just?
I actually am gonna see Deanna at the Rotary Club, so she's gonna be speaking there, and I'll just mention to her, just if she would mind making sure that Tucker and Anne are teed up to follow each other consecutively.
Good, good.
Oh,
Okay.
I think I
Well,
got, yeah. I just got something in a question from Minuteman, but I will go back out to them. And I think we'll have something no problem by Tuesday. So they've
great.
responded. Great.
Do we have to, as a matter of course, take the lowest bid?
No,
No. Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's a
I
good
mean,
idea.
I
It's a good
mean,
idea.
obviously,
I mean,
if it's 15,000,
$15
5,000, I think I know the answer.
difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather go with somebody that is
Yeah.
reputable,
Yeah.
but they're going to both come in close is my guess. But
Yep.
Good.
So G-Way I just got back. I asked him a few more questions and refinements. It's $4,582.54
that
for,
includes postage,
yep.
Jen?
So printing is 1,169. Approximate first class postage for 8,400 is 3,139.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
so I guess first class postcards must be 25 or 30 cents each.
I think they're in the 30s somewhere. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember when it was a nickel.
Yeah.
Um, and it's a 4x6 card is what I had it priced for. Nothing big, but something like
Yeah,
that.
and we'll all be on, so assumingly all of us are registered, so we'll sort of know when the card gets to us. So it'll be a good
Exactly.
test. We'll have at least 5 or 11 people will get it. Yeah, we'll know if the survey's out yet. Yeah.
Are we,
Yeah.
Jen, I haven't seen the, maybe Tuesday, if you could just bring what will it say? What will the
Mhm.
QR code look like and so forth? And I guess some of the issues that I'm seeing on the reports that we got thus far, people say, I don't know much about the charter. Tell me something about it. You're asking me for something that I don't know much about. So, do we have a link to it? I mean, again, it's maybe a QR code that takes you to the charter and a QR code that takes you to the survey.
Um, I think, well, I have one question on that just before we end. Wasn't group three, and I was always curious what meant, was public input group three on the theme-based articles?
Public input. Say it again to me.
So in themes and articles, there was one for group three called public input. Was what was we had
You
theme-based.
know what? That could have. I don't. Let me go back.
So we
I
had elected versus appointed boards and commissions, group one,
Yeah.
elected versus appointed town officers, group two, public input, group three, sewer and water boards, commissions, group one, term limits for appointed elected positions and boards and
It
commissions.
could be, it could be the actual survey itself, but you're taking that. Oh, you know what? Because I think it's you and Jen, we sort of have
Karen,
Karen, sorry, we have a representation in each, so I think that's it. But
was
I,
I don't think but I don't think we had talked about the survey when we made when this was made up.
oh
Is
yeah,
it
yeah,
was okay.
yeah, public input. Yeah, I'm looking right at it. It says group three. Um,
Maybe
I,
they were, maybe they thought
we didn't know
maybe
who
they
was
thought
going to
they
be
would,
on which.
yeah.
You recall when
Right,
this
right.
was, okay, when these groups were established, we didn't know who was going to be in what group.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you two are handling that, or you, so
Oh,
that's
Karen is involved too. Okay.
yeah,
But maybe going to the public input question,
yeah,
maybe it might be not a bad idea to discuss on Tuesday, some sort of education.
yeah. There's for sure there's going to be lots of education that's taken. I'll comment on that too. I mean, what the libraries asked us to do, what lots of groups, Karen has reached out to Duquesne moms, for instance, and that's kind of thing. And all I'm suggesting is based on what I've seen thus far, those people who know the charter or know a specific point of the charter are commenting. Those who don't have anything specific but receive the email or what have you, they'd like to know more, and that's why I kind of lean towards later. But that's okay. Um, but maybe a link to the charter so people can peruse it before they comment,
Well,
especially if you.
maybe here's what I'm thinking. A lot of people may not go to the library, may not be a New Canaan mom. What if we had a small video of yourself and Judy as chair and co-chair, describing what the charter is, describing what it does, and so when you get the postcard, either way if you're informed or not informed, and you haven't been to the library and you haven't been to
Oh
the
yeah, there's
senior
all
events.
kinds. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
And that way, you can
there's
click
the
learn and then go to a
yeah,
survey.
yeah,
And it's recorded, it's on the town website. You know,
yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
I like that, and I was, what I was going to suggest. So maybe maybe your suggestion replace was I going to suggest maybe it's additive, but I was just going to suggest when you click onto the survey, there's sort of two or three paragraphs that sort of captures, and then you sort of go to the survey, or maybe let them have a link to go to the charter as well, so they could do that. I don't want to put too much on the postcard only because at that point it gets a little confusing, right?
yeah,
I
it's a
think.
lot.
I
I agree.
think it's a lot. That's all.
Well, it does the QR code take you to our web page that then says, here's the description of what the Charter Revision Commission is doing. Click here for the survey. Click here. There's lots of different links on that page.
Yeah.
Does the QR code on the postcard take you to that page, or you want to go directly to the survey?
So my
Well, I
thinking,
was thinking of going to a page, whether it was that page, but I was thinking of going to a page, which sort of tells them they're now going to the survey, but
Yeah.
it maybe references where they could get other resources. Look at Kathleen's video, look at the charter or whatever. But I do think we all agree that we need something. So maybe we should work on, um, Jen, if you want, or Kathleen, if you want to give it to another committee. I mean, I'm happy to work with the three of us or the four of us with Russ on what that card looks like, or
Mhm.
we have
I
to
have a
design
record
that.
card. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I was thinking along the same lines. I'm thinking the QR code goes to the survey,
Okay.
but but the verbiage on the card has want to learn more about, go here. And then I was thinking you and Judy could do a video, which could take them because people are not readers anymore. They're more visual. Um,
I
they
can
could
ask.
listen to your video about what the charter is. I'm happy to work with you, Bill, on what goes on the card. But and also remember too, and then you could have a go to the charter here. We don't want to have a bunch of links, but you'll find information here. I do think the QR code should go directly to the survey. Remember too, in the survey, we have a link to the charter in the survey.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought maybe the card might just hadn't thought about this before, but might say something like, you know, we're seeking your input on the new town of New Canaan's constitution, parentheses, charter, okay? And then say there's a independent group or group of 11 people working on this, obviously the words have to be right. And then just sort of please click on or scan on to the survey. Just somehow you got to catch them to understand because they're not going to open the survey unless you got them, right? And to me, Constitution, town charter, how the town's working, independent group, those are the three concepts I think we want to get on there, right? I assume.
Yeah, I was thinking want to learn more, go to our page on the website, which then could also have the Kathleen and Judy video,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
But somehow you got to get them to make that first click, right?
Too soon, in my view, too soon.
Yeah.
It's where, we haven't even put in front what the commission is standing for or recommending and so forth. I think it's too soon, but that's okay.
What do you mean, Kathleen? You think it's too early?
Yeah, too soon, for sure. I mean, all we're asking them is to take a look at the charter. We have people showing up who are on boards and commissions who haven't even read the charter, so and to then ask the public, what's your comments? They're looking at it for the very first time, many of them. And I would rather say, here's a charter, please take a look at it. And here's what the commission is thinking. Here's their 11 points that they're coming up with. And, if would you like to, offer your thoughts on if it's term limits or elected versus appointed or 5-member boards versus, I mean, let's give them something to comment on.
I
In
thought
my view.
I understand what you're saying, but I thought that the purpose of the survey when we first decided was to I think last time you talked to 80 different people and 90 to commission 10 years ago, I thought was to get more input into the decision-making process for the public. And so if we go and we say we're all thinking of, painting the streets green for St. Patrick's Day, that's our recommendation.
I'd like to know what you think about that. So,
Yeah, I just it's sort of leading. I guess I've been sort of reserving judgment on questions till I heard the input, and I now think we're actually changing where the cart and the horse is, which might be fine.
I think you can do both. Look, I think there's a lot of work still to be done to get a card out and a video made, right? That's not something we can do in 20 minutes in
Right.
an afternoon. Um, so I do think we should get at it as soon as it goes out, even if we don't have something completely decided. Um, that's not a bad thing. And then we just leave it open for a little longer than the March 15th
Yeah.
we had originally discussed. And if people then the light bulb goes off in people's heads like, oh, wait, I got this card. I now know I see a lot this in the press, or I talk to my
Yeah.
neighbor, da, 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 da. I think you'll fulfill both. I think it's an invaluable tool for pre and post discussion. And I think, but all of it's going to take work. So
Yeah.
the faster we get on it and the more it goes out and the sooner things get done, I think we're in better shape. Yep.
Okay.
And I think we can achieve both because I do think it's been a valuable tool for people to give us input prior as these discussions are going. I've noticed on YouTube, there has been a lot of viewing of these videos. So that's also very informative.
yep.
Now, is it me who hasn't gone to every meeting? Yes. But of the subgroups, but yeah. So
Yeah. Okay.
I
That's
think
good.
the sooner the better we start getting moving and the sooner it goes out. It does take people, what I've seen in my past is there's spikes and then there's valleys and then spikes and valleys. Yep. And it's all arranged. I would agree. I think though, what I saw in usage was there was a lot of upfront fill in on the survey. Things have sort of trickled down. Even though it went in the Canaanite, we got maybe one or two, not a whole big push. It isn't steady. It's more
Yeah.
like this.
Well,
Yeah.
if we get the same percentage reply that planning and zoning got from the
Yep.
card,
Then I think it's good.
we'll get 800. That I can't imagine we're going to get 800 responses. We might get, you know,
We'll not get 800
let's say
responses.
we could do a pool on that. I didn't do so well in the Super Bowl pool, so we can do a different pool. So
I don't
yeah,
think anyone did, Bill.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, no, I think the sooner we get this moving and sooner get with this done, it's going to take some work. Yeah.
yeah.
So super.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
A motion for adjournment?
Second, see you at 1 o'clock.
See you at 1. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Ken.
bye.
Bye.